It has been blazing hot here on the homestead, into the hundreds almost every day, and we're still outside a lot taking care of animals and haying and working in the garden. And so it has been my mission to come up with some creative ways to keep the family hydrated without all of the sugary drinks. And in today's video, I'm going to show you 3 of my old-fashioned favorites, starting off with homemade switchel or Haymakers Punch. So you'll also find this recipe in my cookbook, but basically this is like an old-timers version of Gatorade. Old-time recipes called for vinegar and molasses and other ingredients that we now know give our bodies that little extra bit of potassium and the things that we lose when we sweat. And we can make this at home and it's a lot better for you than actual Gatorade. So the ingredients are really simple. Probably stuff you already have in your pantry. We're going to start off with 3 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar, and I'm using homemade vinegar that I made last year. With my giant jar here. So I'll add 3 tablespoons of that to a pitcher or a jar. Okay. Now I'm going to add 3 tablespoons of honey. I like to use raw honey or local honey when I can get it. Then a tablespoon of lemon juice. You can use freshly squeezed if you like, or bottled like me. And then a teaspoon of ground ginger. You could also use fresh ginger if you like, but ground is what I have today. So to this I'm going to add 4 cups of cool water. And then just mix this all up to make sure it dissolves completely. Sometimes it takes a little while for the honey to get mixed in. And then I just like to let this chill in the fridge for a couple hours just to let all the flavors mingle. When you're ready to serve it, you can serve it over ice, or if you're like me and you like that carbonation, you can add this to some sparkling water. You want to go about 2 parts of the Haymakers Punch to about 1 part of sparkling water. So the next one I want to show you is a loose leaf fruit iced tea. And to be perfectly honest, I'm not a big iced tea person, but when I make it this way, I absolutely love it. And the kids like it too. And the thing I like most about this is that it tastes good and it's sweet, but it has 0 sugar or artificial sweeteners in it. So the first thing you want to make sure you're starting off with is a really good tea. And I have tried some like fruit iced tea recipes in the past. I didn't like them because I was using the wrong tea. So I've been using loose leaf teas. I especially love these flavors from the Positively Tea Company. These are really high quality. They're whole leaf teas. A lot of times the tea that comes in the little tea bags that you get at the grocery store doesn't have as much flavor. They put the leftovers from the tea making process in those bags. Okay, so we're going to start off with about 2 cups of hot water. And to this I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of the loose leaf tea. So you could use your own tea bags or a tea strainer. I am pretty unorthodox with my tea, so I'm just going to put it right in the hot water and strain it out here in a minute. Another reason I like to do that is it really lets the tea expand, and I feel like maybe it has a little more flavor, but if you want to use a strainer, that's okay too. Now I do like sweet drinks, so I'm going to add some stevia to the pot. Stevia is a plant. You can grow it in your backyard. It's incredibly sweet and it adds a really nice flavor to this tea. I don't think it has a lot of aftertaste, and it has no calories and none of the junk that an artificial sweetener would have. Sometimes people get a little bit weird about stevia. They're like, oh, it's not natural. But you know, if you're using ground up stevia leaves, which is what I have here from the Positively Tea Company, this is straight up plant material. This isn't processed. It didn't have to go to a factory first. And so I have 0 issue using this to sweeten my drinks. I'm gonna give it a little stir. I'm gonna add about a half a tablespoon, maybe a whole tablespoon. Kind of depends on how sweet you like it. We're gonna let that steep for about 7 minutes. Sometimes I do go longer because I do like a more full flavored tea, but you have to be careful. Some types of tea will get bitter if you let them sit too long. If you have a rooibos type of tea, you can let it go for quite a while, it won't get bitter. So this one just has mostly dried fruit and dried fruit leaves in it, and so it's one that's safe to let go a little bit longer if you want a little more full flavored tea without the bitterness. Now that our steeping time is over, I'm just gonna strain out the tea leaves and the stevia leaves. Okay, and then we have our hot tea. I'm just gonna add about 5 cups of ice water, or I'm just gonna use straight up ice here in my 2-quart jar. Whoops, it's going everywhere. All right, so you want to serve this cold. I just like to keep it in the refrigerator, and then the kids and I drink it when we need it, usually after we've been outside in the garden or something like that. So the last recipe I want to show you has a few more ingredients, but it's not complicated and it's really, really good. So you're going to want to start off with a cup of rhubarb. So this is a perfect tea to make in the early summer when you have rhubarb in your garden. This one came from right outside my door over there. So I'm going to add that to a medium-sized pot. I'm going to add about a 1/2 cup of strawberries. I'm using frozen strawberries because my homegrown ones aren't quite producing enough yet. I'm going to also add about 6 cups of water. A tablespoon of dried mint, and if you have mint out in your garden, you could use that as well. Just use some fresh mint leaves, a little extra flavor. And then turn this pan on high. Okay, so you just want to simmer this for 8 to 10 minutes, just till the rhubarb and the strawberries are kind of mushy. You can see that when I squish the rhubarb up against the pan, it's nice and soft. And then I'm just going to remove it from the heat and add in my tea and my stevia. So I'm going to use the stevia in this tea, just like I did the last one. I'm going to add about a tablespoon just for a little sweetener in there. And I'm also going to add 3 tablespoons of black tea. Give it a little mix here. And then I'll just let this steep for a few minutes and let all those flavors mingle. After our steeping time is done, I'm just gonna strain it into my jar. You'll notice these 1/2 gallon jars have come in handy today. I spill everything. Okay, close enough. I'm gonna give this leftover fruit to the chickens, of course. Now this is pretty warm. I also spilled it all down the side, as you can see. But I'm gonna let this sit and cool down, and then I'll stick it in the fridge and we'll serve it cold over ice. So if you would like to learn how to make your own vinegar like I did to use in recipes like Haymakers Punch or a million other things, check out this video.